Good morning, everybody. It's the day after Thanksgiving, and Bitcoin nearly hit 99,000, broke through 98, and we got to $98,745. There is some crazy stacking happening behind the scenes. It looks like whale activity from what I see on chain, but that is not the story today. I do have my standby whiskey for the 100,000 event. I hope it doesn't happen during the day today. I am slammed. Anyway, let's get into this. The inspiration for this one today is MERT, friend of the channel, and he put a tweet together. And this is, of course, our Friday Fire edition. He put a cool tweet together, and I found it very interesting. It was basically, these are the top cryptos based on technology. So let me try pull my slides up. Make sure everything works. Hang on, not that. This one, yeah. And I decided, why don't I take the data that we have in our compendium and SCP profiler and try look at the technology scores of each. And I create a composite score just to see how good MERT is. So let's get into it. And disclaimer, not financial advice. Thank you, Deborah, on Patreon. This was the actual tweet. I'll blow it up and I'll read it to you because it's so important. Blockchain tier list from MERT at Helios Dev. Based solely on my technical opinion and what is live today. S tier being the top, he has Solana and Bitcoin. Interesting. The A tier is Near, Sui, Aptos, and Celestia. The B tier, Arbitrum, Polygon, Fuel, Avalanche, Monero, and Zcash. The C tier is Binance Smart Chain, TON, Base, Optimism, Say, Tezos, Tron. The D tier, Polkadot, Algorand, Stellar, ICP, and Hedera, which is HBAR. And the E tier is Postgres, never heard of that. MongoDB, I know the old MongoDB, and Cardano down at the very bottom. And I want to emphasize that if you are upset at my opinion on this, I hear you, and I want to reiterate, nobody cares. He's funny. But this guy is also a top brain in the crypto space. And knows his stuff. And I've done multiple videos with MERT. This was our most recent one called FUD Fighters, dispelling all the FUD. But let's get into it. We're going to go through a journey now of looking at a whole bunch of data. I spent the whole night last night and early this morning working on it. And then I'm going to create a composite score and then see how my ranking compares to his. Let's get into it. First of all, market cap dominance. Pretty straightforward. Obviously, the more dominance, in some cases, the more powerful the chain. But market cap dominance, of course, Base doesn't have a market cap because it's not a token that's available to buy. So don't buy any fake Base out there. Bitcoin, 57.07% dominance. Number 2, Solana, 3.4% dominance. Binance, 2.87% dominance. And Cardano, 1.05% dominance. Cardano has nearly over 1% market cap dominance. But it ranks lowly on MERT's analysis. We'll get into that more. Distance from all-time high. This shows you how strong the momentum is for the asset. I make sure everybody can hear me okay. Thank you all for coming, by the way, in the audience. This is the distance from all-time high. We are more than halfway through a bull run. And the distance from all-time high, Bitcoin, actually, this is now slightly out of date because Bitcoin literally got it within 1.5% of all-time high a minute ago, 1% even. Binance, 8.2%. Sui, 9.8%. Solana, 10.7%. That all changed because the market has just pumped in the last few minutes. But if you look at other names like ICP, 97.8% from all-time high, and that's not a good look. Algorand, 91.1%. Polkadot, 85.1%. Matic, 80.9%. Cardano, 68%. Avalanche, 70.7%. And this is after many of these bottom ranked coins have pumped huge. Many have doubled in a very short window of time. The question is, what do people going to do next? Anyway, next one is Nakamoto coefficient, which is the level of decentralization. Bitcoin, 9,302. Impossible to not call this the most decentralized chain on the planet. Polkadot, 133. Cardano, 35. Avalanche, 24. Aptos, 20. Solana is 18. And the reason Solana is going down is there's been a much heavier concentration in the top validators. So you have to attack less validators to get control. That's basically what this means. And then Sui, 17. Near, 11. Algorand, 10. And all the way down, TRON is 1, which means very, very heavily centralized. ICP 2, Arbitrum, etc. So that's another interesting point of view that I look at. Next in the box is max theoretical TPS. The fastest chain is Solana, and that doesn't even take into account Firedancer, which can run at 1.2 million TPS. Sui, 297,000, and these are theoretical TPSs. Aptos, 160,000, Near 100,000, Matic, 65,000, Arbitrum, 40,000, Say, 20,000, ICP, 11,500. You'll read a lot of stuff on the internet saying ICP is the fastest chain. Yeah, well, this is just data. And again, down the bottom, you've got Bitcoin, 7, Cardano, 7. So, and people ask, why isn't ETH in this? The answer is, MERT didn't include it. I'm only including the names he included. So that was the speed. Next, we have developers, weekly core commits. We're getting more into the tech side here. Weekly core commits can show how development activity, but it doesn't necessarily reflect the quality or impact of the changes being made. So, as usual, quantity doesn't equal quality. A high number of commits could simply mean frequent small changes or even code refactoring rather than significant improvements. And some commits are also closed source, so we don't see it all, like some of the action that happens on Rust and Solana. So we don't see that. But the point is, weekly core commits, number 1 is Solana, 3,149, which is very busy. Cardano, 1,672. Near, 1,602. Sui, 982. And on down the list. Say, very disappointing, 44. Tron, 91. Not much happening there. Arbitrum, 350, etc. So again, sometimes certain chains have a lot of what I call busy activity without actually doing anything. For years, I've been questioning, well, Polkadot, tons of developers, tons of development activity, but zero adoption. Why is that? Let's see. Maybe they're not building the right stuff. Anyway, weekly developers, next one, again on the development chain. And Cardano always claims they have more developers than anyone, but not per this. And remember, all our tools tie directly into APIs for all data fees. We spend a fortune on data, and we feed it all into our big engine. And that way we can analyze the best stuff. The winner here is Solana, 959 weekly active developers. Bitcoin, number 2, 581 weekly active developers. And number 3, Polkadot, 502. Base, 453. Matic, 445. Down the line, Cardano is 250. Again, Solana has 4x the number of developers. 4x. Anyway, repositories. Next one, again on the technical chain. This is kind of code quality and documentation repositories, and it showcases the quality of blockchain code. But some chains could be very well structured and organized. Some could have comprehensive documentation, including inline comments. And some spend a lot of time adherence to coding standards and best practices. And this is kind of a reflection of the overall quality of the blockchain, the code, testing, QA, all that stuff. Now, extensive tests are also probably in here as well, especially with a lot of new development, a lot of new testing. So again, the winner on the chain here is Total Repository, 71,298 for Solana. Matic, number 2, 35,776. Binance, number 3, 24,000. And Polkadot, number 4, 21,000. You go all the way down to Cardano, only have 4,000 versus 71,000 for Solana. Now, you could also argue that could be one of the reasons why Cardano doesn't have a lot of dApps, because they don't have a lot of repositories. The more breadth of dApps that I've been stressing for many years now, the more product market fit, the more out-of-the-box capability, the easier it is to spin up a solution on a blockchain. And that's probably why Cardano doesn't do that very well. Anyhow, Lindy effect. This is an interesting one because sometimes you hear me say that older technology is slow and bad, and newer technology is fast and good, cheap, etc. But this is just an interesting point of the Lindy effect, i.e. Bitcoin, with its longer history, is more likely to persist and maintain its relevance in the future. And that's kind of the key of Lindy. Solana occupies the middle ground, having been through a nasty, nasty bear market and a whole bunch of other stuff, and it's proven its staying power, but not to the extent of Bitcoin. And then Say is the newest. and it faces the greatest challenge in establishing long-term credibility, but it should have an edge for having the newest, latest technology. But it all remains to be seen, so I don't put much weight in this, but I do share. So Bitcoin has been around 5,252 days, ladies and gentlemen. The second oldest after Ethereum is Binance, 2,683, and 2,615 is Cardano. It's been around a long time. TRON as well. All those three chains, actually, if you look carefully, you'll see they all launched exactly at the same time. Binance, TRON, Cardano. The question is, do they have the newest, sexiest code base to build stuff? We shall see. Thank you, Piper, for coming as well. And TND Tesla for turning up. I appreciate you. Daily active users. Again, how much the chain is actually used. How much stress can it take? Solana yesterday had nearly 8 million daily active users. Number 2 in the box is near 2.98 million. And TRON, number 3, 2.4 million. Aptos, 1.2 million. Base, 1.07 million. This is interesting because Aptos is normally running about 600,000 daily active users, and Base is running around 1.2 million. They've completely swapped. So for some reason, Aptos is busy again. Binance, just under 1 million. Sui, just under 1 million. Matic, 700,000. And Cardano, 52,000, Avalanche, 50,000, ICP, 15,000, and Polkadot, 7,000 users. Again, winner takes most. The disparity between some of these numbers is absolutely outrageous, but for my composite score, I don't even take that into account. I just weight everything and allocate simple points, just to be very fair and objective. Now, fees, again, how much people spend on a chain. The winner, 7.3 million, Solana, TRON, 2 million, Bitcoin, $1 million. Binance, 700,000. Now, there was a time where Binance was earning millions of dollars. That has gone away because I think more people are more active on DEXs, perhaps. Could be wrong. Base, 577,000. And then everything just falls away to peanuts. You got ICP, $59. Say, $953 a day. And that reflects people aren't using it, nor are they paying to use it, which is an important sign. DEX volume, another way to say how much stress the system can take and how much it's actually used and what are the capabilities like. Well, Solana wins here. Over $5 billion of DEX volume in a day. 5 billion. Base number 2, 2 billion. Arbitrum number 3, 1.3 billion. And Binance, 1.2 million. And then again, as usual, it just drops off to nothing. Absolutely nothing. You got Cardano, $12 million. Algorand, 3 million. 3.9 million, etc. So winner takes most, as usual. Next is total value locked. Again, a total value locked reflects blockchain quality, in my opinion. It reflects user confidence. A high TVL indicates trust in security and long-term viability. It reflects the vibrancy of the ecosystem, like high DeFi activity, the power of the development community to attract these people, these users, and the trust. Liquidity and usability also means more people come because they got depth where they can trade hard, and security as well. If there's a lot of TVL, it means there's a lot of trust, which means there's a lot of security, especially for proof of stake blockchains. And again, winner here, Solana, 9 billion, sorry. TRON number 2, 7.8 billion. Binance, 5.5 billion. Bitcoin, 4.3 billion. Base, 3.6 billion. Arbitrum, 3 billion. And then Sui, 1.4 billion. And it falls down the line. And yeah, you can read the rest of the numbers for yourself. But again, an important stat that I look at. And forgive me, I'm only halfway through my coffee quotient this morning. Block time, another important one. This directly affects transaction confirmation speed and network throughput. Shorter block times lead to faster transaction confirmations, which is important to people like me, and improves user experience for time-sensitive applications. Dutch Solanian, thank you, and ASAP as well. But if you look here, the winner is actually ICP. They've got the shortest block time of, 2 milliseconds? Or is it 0.02 of a second? I think it's 0.02 of a second. Optimism, number 2, 0.34 of a second. And Arbitrum, 0.37 of a second. Solana, 0.4 of a second. These are quick chains. Say, 0.43 of a second. Sui, 0.48 of a second. Aptos, 0.5 of a second. And Near Protocol, a minute, 20 seconds. Or 1.2 1.2 seconds. I should know this, but I forget. No, let me see. 10 minutes. Yeah, that's 1.2 seconds. So all the top 8 chains are very, very fast. Base 2 seconds, etc. And then you go down the line, and you got some chains that, like Cardano's 20 seconds, Bitcoin's 10 minutes, Polkadot 6 seconds, Algorand 3.6 seconds. So again, if you are trying to fill a trade on a DEX for a leverage perp, trust me, every millisecond counts. Now, that is some of the data. We gather over 69 different data points. I'm just showing you 15 or so. I can't remember how much it is, but this is kind of the list and the composite score: dominance, distance from all-time high, Nakamoto coefficient, transactions per second, developers, Lindy effect, daily active users, daily transaction fees, DEX volume, total value locked, block time, etc. Some are higher weights, some are lower. You can allocate your own, whatever's important to you. But I just did everything equally. So overall, this is kind of a messy spreadsheet, but you can see who wins across all these categories. Bitcoin wins dominance, distance from all-time high, Nakamoto, and the last one, oh no, the last one shouldn't be highlighted. So Bitcoin wins 3 of the categories, but Solana wins the majority of them. Speed, weekly commits, developers, repositories, users, fees, DEX volume, TVL, etc. Block time, again, won by ICP. And the youngest is Say. Second youngest is Sui at 575 days. So again, it's pretty clear. Now, when I put together my composite score, again, just of the crypto tech, you can see here the clear winner on this list is Solana number 1, Bitcoin number 2, Binance number 3, Near number 4, Matic number 5, Avalanche number 6, Sui 7, Aptos 8, Polkadot 9, etc. It's interesting that Sui is below Avalanche. Now remember, this focus is on technology and MERT's approach, not necessarily how successful chains are. And everything is weighted equally as well. Even though one chain may have 1,000 times more users than another chain, I didn't use that as a weighting, although I should have, but I didn't for simplicity, just so people don't get butthurt. Now, let's compare my analysis to MERT's. This is the interesting part. And it's a bit messy, so a reminder on the top right corner is MERT's list, the S list, the S tier. Whoa, well, MERT nailed the S's, Bitcoin and Solana. Wow, he was perfect there. And A is Near, Sui, Aptos, and Celestia. A is interesting. So A, focus your eye on the orange gold color. You can see Near, yep, that's an A. But the others, like Sui, Aptos, they fell down a little bit more in mine. And then what else do we have? We have B. The Bs are the light blues. That is Arbitrum, Polygon, Avalanche, etc. You can see here the Bs, Matic, and Avalanche. MERT again nailed those. Arbitrum I had way down at B, way down below TRON. And then we have C, which is Binance, Base, Optimism, Say, TRON, etc. And on the Cs, you can see there the darker blue. I've got TRON. The winner of the Cs, by the way, is Binance. Binance is my third best overall, considering all they have and all the adoption and everything else. Weekly scoring. So from that perspective, MERT has Binance as a C. I would have had it as an A. So that's kind of a difference. But the rest of the C's he nailed. TRON, Optimism, Say, and Base. Then the Ds. Let's look at the Ds. Ds, D for Polkadot. That works. Dot. Polkadot, even though it has nobody using it, it did rank pretty high. It ranked above TRON and just below Aptos. So that D, again, according to this ranking, is a little bit higher than where MERT would have had it. But he did nail Algorand, Hedera, ICP, kind of down there at the bottom. And then the E. The E I colored with poop color. That is Cardano down the very bottom. And of course, MERT nailed that again. We are aligned literally 84% of these with a few outliers like Binance and Arbitrum. And as I always say, being the best assets, Mert, thank you for doing this little exercise. I hope you don't mind me doing mine beside yours. And people wonder why I'm only into cryptos is because winner takes most, everybody. And we ain't seen nothing yet for where Solana will go. And all of this information is available as well in the SCP Profiler. You can the link is there. Just Google it. You'll find it. I want to thank you all for coming. Hope you enjoyed the show. And I need to check on the markets because Bitcoin at 90. We're $1,500 away, ladies and gentlemen, from me trying my first ever whiskey. Life is good. Anyway, take care of yourselves out there. I want to thank everybody for coming. I know it's earlier than normal for me today, but I want to get this one out. That was Friday Fire, and we might have a special stream later. We are literally $1,400 away from $100,000. Put this in the car just in case we need to Starlink from the road, everybody. Thank you all for coming. Appreciate you. Thank you, Team Tesla, as well. Have a good day.